Hey everyone, welcome back to Mini Bike Mike's Garage. So as you can see, I've got another project on the table. This is actually a continuation of a video, probably the video that's posted right before this one. I had a visitor here at Mini Bike Mike's Garage and here in my shop. I had Patrick Wells from Southeast Vintage Cycle Rescue, and he stopped by a week or so ago and to visit. And we pulled out this bike. You've probably seen it. It's sat over there underneath the stand for quite some time. We pulled it out and did a will it run video on this, and we heard it pop off, and that's all we were really attempting to do was just here, just see if the engine would do something, and it did. It took us a little bit, but we got it to actually pop off. But I thought, you know what, I've got it on the table. Why don't we just leave it here and start rebuilding this bike? So that's what I'm going to do. I think today's video, I'm just going to tear it apart, disassemble it, and that'll be it. Just get it down to the bones to where we can then start cleaning up the individual parts. So this will be a multi-video series on this bike, but a little bit of backstory. Obviously, it is a Candy Gold K0. I can't remember. I think Patrick and I looked at it. Did it have a 6 of 71 or 6 of 70? 6 of 70 build. I bought it on an online auction. First time I've ever bought a bike on an online auction, actually. I bought a couple of them, and this one actually predates the red one that I did a video on back, I don't know, a while back. But anyway, I've had this bike for quite some time. I think it was Marci Junebug. If you're looking for a new YouTube channel to follow and you don't follow Marci, I highly recommend that. I believe the channel's Marci Junebug. You might also Google junk in this truck. I'll put a link to her YouTube channel in the description. She's having the area she lives in is having some internet issues right now, so she's not been as active because she doesn't have good internet access, but to post videos. But anyway, really cool gal, put some interesting stuff up. I believe she was the one who contacted me and said, hey, there's this CT70 at this auction, you might want to check it out. And so I put in a bid. I paid $400 or $450 for this bike. I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember. And obviously it was in a barn. It's pretty rough. So, but we're going to tear into it, see if we can make it look any better. So let's go ahead and bring you guys in. Let's take a little bit better look at it. All right, so you can see that the stator cover's off and so forth. Patrick and I took that off in the last video to access the flywheel. We had to clean the points to get it to spark and so forth. Obviously, the carburetor's loose. That was attached originally. We dropped some fuel right down into the head. But it's actually, even as rough as it looks, it's fairly complete. It is missing the tail light, and the whole bracket is missing. But if I remember, the cables are loose. If I remember right, there's a lot of, as bad as it looks, there's also a lot of good here, which I like. It is rough, man. The mice have just riddled the seat and done what they've done all over it. Hopefully, like bolts like these will come out without snapping off. It's always a challenge, but a lot of straw where it was in the barn, and they dug things out for bedding. It has been wrecked, obviously. Everything's kind of kicked off to this side. Here's something I don't see it very often, but it actually still has the lever, the handle on the high-low switch. Usually that's broken off. The horn button has all the wiring and actually moves. Sorry, I'm just kind of walking around it. it's got an issue. The back wheel does not spin, does not turn. I don't know if it's the chain is so rusty and got it locked up, or you can see that the brake stay is not bolted to the brake plate. And so the plate has rotated, which has thrown the brake rod all up into a mess here. So I don't know, maybe the brake is engaged and has the back wheel locked, but we had to drag it to get it up on the table. I'm just now noticing we got some baling wire wrapped around. But I mean, it's got, you know, little things like springs and so forth. It's missing the one for the brake, but it's got the brake switch, but it's got this spring. All the other parts are there, which are good. The head tube on the exhaust is missing. It completely rotted off. You can see that it's still bolted down here onto the bottom of the head, but the tube itself is gone. Leaked for quite some time. That, I don't know if it's showing up on film, but this chrome cover is basically black from where the exhaust has been just blowing on that. Got some kind of hitch pin. Yeah, like I said, it was on a farm. But the decals look like they're in decent shape. I'm gonna try and clean it up and not paint it. We're gonna try and clean it up and use as many of the parts as we can. Obviously, things like this might need to be replaced. We'll see if it'll clean up, straighten up. We'll have to put a new headlight ring. You know, we might be able to salvage the bucket. There's a little crack right there. Boy, these are rough. I don't know. Apparently the throttle mess, I don't know if they lost the rest of this, but they stuck a bolt in the slide, and I wonder if they just drove it by just pulling on that bolt. Gotta love it. I'm noticing that the steering stop is broke off when they wrecked it. Oh wow, it's got a toolkit. I'm hoping that the wiring is still good. We got it to fire off with the wiring that's in the bike and the key switch. And amazingly, as much mouse damage as there is to the seat and everything else, I'm not seeing any damage to the wiring. So I'm really hoping that that's all salvageable. Now, it did have the battery cover in there. We took that off. Patrick and I took that off when we were working on the bike. The one issue that I did notice, or we noticed that it has, that it's going to need some work. When they wrecked the bike, I don't know if it's showing up, but this fork on this side seems to have a bow in it. We're not in a straight line. The other side, I think, the other one over there looks okay, but from here down, this fork tube it's got a little, it's got a little custom bend in it. So hopefully, once I take all that off, we can maybe straighten that up. We're going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it. So, all right. I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm just going to set you guys up, and I'm going to just start tearing it apart. We probably will put it on fast forward or something so it doesn't take forever. But like I said, in today's video, I just want to get it down, get it all, take everything apart, get rid of all the mess, and then we'll come back and assess what we've got once we've got it apart and how easy it's going to be to clean it up and put it back together. Well, the first thing I want to do is get rid of this nasty old seat. Oh, well, that's promising. Actually, they weren't that tight. Come out of there. Let's get rid of this thing so it is not dropping stuff all over us. What a mess. What a mess. Okay. And I think next I'll get rid of that exhaust. So let's take that off, see what we've got. Don't think it's even attached at any other location. It's not. And it's got the typical, it broke off, it rotted. It rusted so bad, it even rusted to the bracket off of there, but I think I don't know, it might be packed. We're gonna try and see if we can salvage it, use it. We'll see what happens. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like there might be something in there. Well, that's good. All those came loose fairly easy. Well, all right, I think I'm going to fast forward here, and you guys don't need to watch me take out every nut and bolt. So I'm going to fast forward and just start kind of removing some of the things, some parts and pieces of it, and I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Well, I'll give you a little bit of an update. So far, I've been pleasantly surprised that all the threads, everything's coming out well, except for one. I broke the bolt off in the spark plug guard, the bottom one. I should have taken a little more care. I hit it with the impact and it broke right off. But other than that, everything else has come out pretty smoothly, and I've been really surprised at that. And like the wiring, as I had hoped, is looking pretty good. I still have not gotten the slide to come out of the carburetor, and I'm trying to get it out without taking the screen off. I want to retain the screen if I can. You know, I try not to stick something in there and pry that slide loose. Once it breaks free, it'll come out. So I'm just hitting it with some PB Blaster and WD-40 and just going to try and loosen that up so to get that out of there. But all right, I'm going to continue taking other pieces and parts off, and I'll bring you back when I've made a little more progress. All right, another quick little update. Guys, I continue to be amazed at how easily this bike wants to come apart. Things like the brake pedal assembly coming off of this shaft. I've had some where I've had to beat on that and heat it and do all kinds. I took the cotter pin and it slid right off. I don't know what's going on here. Things like the brake, the rear brake that screws into this little post right here. I twisted it, after I broke it loose, I unscrewed it by hand and it came out. It's just been phenomenal. Other than that one broken bolt on the spark plug guard, I'm flabbergasted at how well this has come apart. So it just wants to be rebuilt. So now I'm ready to drop the engine. I've got everything taken off. Oh, you know what I need to do? This chain is toast. I think I'm just going to cut the chain and get it out of the way to drop the engine. This chain, it pivots right here, but that's about the only place that it moves. Other than that, that chain is rusted solid. So I'm gonna put some gear on here, and we're just going to get rid of it. So, all right, got a little noise here. There you go. All right, let's set this out of the way. And we have separation. I bet that's I'm willing to guarantee that's the first time that engine's been out of there. What's this bike got on it? It's got 3,451 miles on it. Awesome. All right, I'm going to continue the tear down process. All right, admittedly, it does not take much to get me excited on these little bikes. I just truly do enjoy tinkering with them, working on them and so forth. But as I've already stated a few times in this video, I'm just amazed at the ease at which this bike is coming apart. Handlebars. This handle, I mean, I didn't even scuff the dirt off of it. It's still dirty. It just unscrewed. Took the handlebar right out. Now this one, you can tell I had to work on it a little bit. I had to spray it with some penetrating oil and WD-40 or whatever, but got it. Didn't break either one. The handlebars probably aren't worth trying to reuse, but at least we saved the original knobs. It's just everything is coming apart. It just wants to be taken apart. Let me show you some stuff here. I'm gonna take you out of the stand real quick. Hang on just a second. I think we can save almost everything on this. I did get the slide out of the carburetor finally without messing up the screen or anything. Got it, finally worked its way loose, and I think we can save the throttle cable. Every piece of wiring was still intact, was still plugged in. All the wiring looks good. The only exception is the power button, or the power wire to the horn has broke loose right here. But let me back you up just a little bit, and then I'll bring you back in. But this wiring harness, hang on a second. This is up in the headlight, not a missing or chewed fitting. The key switch, nothing has been chewed on. The entire harness is perfect, other than just being dirty. It does have, the typical where it leaves the frame up there out of that rubber grommet where it's all broke. But none of the wires are in bad shape. We just have to clean that up. Just incredible. The front, I can't remember if I've already said it or not. I think I'm gonna lose the front brake cable. It's frayed. It's stuck and it's frayed down here. So that's unfortunate. But the rear brake cable, the throttle cable's good. The speedometer cable's good. All the wiring back at the battery was good. Just incredible that as rough as this looked, that it's coming apart, and I think we're going to use most of the parts that came off of it back on the bike. You can kind of see now I got the fender out of the way. All right, I'm trying to line up these two up here, and you can kind of see that this one's kicked back from the one over there. So, all right, I'm going to take the tires and the front end and the rear fender and the shocks and just go ahead and finish taking this apart, and then we'll probably bring you back for one last bit. Well, here we are. We're basically 3 hours from when we started. It's about 11:45. I started at about 8:45. It took me about 2.5 hours. I went through and picked everything back up, obviously, and cleaned the table off, and then laid everything back out. So Again, incredibly easy disassembly. It was like this bike was put together yesterday, which is just fascinating to me. We broke the one bolt taking off the spark plug guard, and we've lost the front brake cable. I'm probably not going to use the seat, the handlebars, or that broken front headlight, or the front fender. Those will be the items that we need to replace. But everything else I think we can clean up. I mean, I even, it's little things to me, little things. Like the little screw that comes out. How many times you can't get that little screw out of that headlight that's frozen in there, and then you wind up twisting the nut inside the plastic. That thing came right out. No trouble at all. The front end, when I took the forks out of the fork tube, the caps unscrewed by hand. I just unscrewed them. It's just things like that just has blown me away on this bike. So I'm gonna come around and pick up the camera, give you one last look at it here. We'll need to replace the sprocket too. The teeth are laid over after 3,500 miles or 3,400 miles, whatever I said it had on it. Obviously, that tire has been changed, so the rear had been off at some point. I think this is the original. I don't think that brake plate had ever been off of there. Oh, I've got the bolt in it. But I pulled that off earlier. The teeth or the little tabs on the speedometer gear, perfect. That thing had never been out of there. So this is just all the parts and pieces, and now the process starts of cleaning everything up and trying to make it look a little bit better. Let's look at that front end. I think you'll be able to see now what I'm... Yeah, to see how that tube is bent back. Yeah, so we're definitely going to have to see if we can straighten that somehow. But pretty sure the engine's going to run. Going to probably take and pull the stator and change the timing chain on that. When Patrick and I were tinkering with it, it seemed to have a lot of slop in the timing chain. I'll check the adjuster, see if it's, if that's maybe stuck or something, but I got a feeling we're going to need to throw a timing chain in it and hopefully clean that up and it'll be good to go. I did find the tool kit in the back of the seat. Hang on just a second. And so I pulled it out of the seat. And I thought it would be neat to open it up with you guys. So this was in the little compartment underneath the seat. Yeah, it looks to be complete. Spark plug wrench, little pair of pliers, and then all the other little gizmos and gadgets that go. What are these? You know what? I'll be honest with you. I've never really looked at a tool kit. What is this? Has a square hole. Oh, is that for adjusting the valves? Does that go over the little square on the? I don't know. I'm just guessing. Let's go ahead and open it all up. See what all else they got in here. Interesting little wrench. I got a feeling somebody added that. I bet that wasn't part of the original. And then your screwdrivers. All right, so somebody tell me. I've actually never looked inside a tool kit. Oh wow, it even gives you the tappet clearance. And everything is printed on the inside there. That's kind of cool. Who can tell me what's original here and what's not? It all looks original except for this little adjustable crescent wrench right here. That doesn't look like it probably belongs, but everything else, even that dead spider looks original. So, all right, guys, thanks for following along. We'll do a few more videos on this. I'll get everything, start kind of cleaning it up. Again, I don't restore bikes. We're going to clean this up best we can and reassemble it. There'll be parts like the tires, you know, at least the one tire, we'll check into it, see what we need to change. I mean, I just want to make a decent little rider out of it. Want to see what the frame does? Are you guys as interested as I am? We're going to hit it with some of that. Boy, whatever's on there is thick. Yeah, it's going to take a little more work than just spraying it on and lightly wiping it down. But I think I can bring it back. I think it'll look decent. There's a couple little spots right there in the decal, but that's not a big deal. All right. Follow along. Watch me rebuild this. It will be for sale when I get done. So if you're interested in a candy gold K0, original engine, mostly original parts, follow along, and when I get done, hit me up, let me know if you're interested in it, and we'll move it along to the next guy. All right, guys, everybody have a great day. See you on the next video.